Hello, my name is Amber Yanis, and this semester my internship was being president of UNCW's Spanish Club. So this was the club last year. As you can see, we were kind of small, and it just so happened that the entire executive board were seniors, so they were all graduating. So basically the club was going to cease to exist if somebody didn't step up and take initiative and become president. So I chose to become president. I was unanimously elected by the 5 members that we had. So I ran for president, gave a short speech, and then my term began in the summer actually, instead of the fall. So we made flyers and buttons. You can see here that we have our nice little flyer. It says El Club de Español, and it also says when our meeting times are, which is Wednesdays at 7, and where they are, which was Lutzy Hall, room 143. I also have my contact information on the flyer so that people that were interested could get more information. We tabled at the summer involvement carnivals, and this was a really good way to advertise to the freshmen about our club, what we're going to be doing, things we've done in the past, and to get them to sign up and know when our interest meeting would be. We also have a Facebook group. Here you can see that I was advertising our table at the involvement carnival, which was in the fall, and telling people when our interest meeting was going to be and when to expect an email with more information regarding that. This is the fall involvement carnival. We had a table and we got about 200 people to sign up for our email list, even though only about 40 actually went to the interest meeting. So this was our agenda for our interest meeting. It basically just goes over everything that me and the officers were going to talk about, and that included talking about past events, what we're going to do this year, how much dues are, and we also were telling members what positions we had open because we needed 2 more executive board members. So our weekly meetings included cultural nights, conversation nights with international students, and end of the month dinners at El Cerro Grande or at San Felipe. And this is a tradition that has been carried on in Spanish Club since it began here at UNCW. So this was our first service project, and here it's a screenshot of an email that I sent to everyone that was interested in it, and we volunteered at the 25th Annual Farm Workers Appreciation Festival. This was a really cool event. It was crazy to see how big it was. It was out in Dunn, North Carolina, and it was a big festival with a bunch of tents and people and soccer games. So that was really fun. We had about 3 people go out to that, which was small, but it was also our first year doing it. So next year we're hoping that we can get even more because it was a really good experience. So I was in charge of presenting our first cultural night. I'm Cuban, so I presented on Cuba. Here you can see my fabulous domino table. That's actually my last name, Los Llanes, and we have dominoes with Cuban flags on them. I also made a flan, which is a traditional Cuban dessert. It's kind of like a caramel cheesecake. And on top of that, I had a presentation about Cuba and some fun facts, and we all had a good time, played dominoes, and ate flan. We had a really good turnout for this meeting as well. So our end of the month dinners were at El Cerro Grande and San Felipe. We had about 5 to 6 members come out to every dinner, which is good. So we just all go out to dinner, hang out, order in Spanish if we can, and just talk about school and the club. The Halloween Carnival was by far my favorite event. I actually work in the Office of Student Leadership and Engagement as well, so this was my event for that job to coordinate, so I thought what better way to get Spanish Club involved. So we had a table with coloring sheets of sugar skulls, and we had a bunch of crayons and color pencils and markers, and it was a huge hit. By the end of the night, all of our coloring sheets were gone and all of our candy was gone, and everyone just had a really good time. Oh, okay, there we go. Well, our next service project was Festival Latino. And for those of you that don't know, Festival Latino is a huge festival that has been going on for almost 20 years now. And this year was held at Ogden Park, and we were in charge of piñatas. Down here you can see some of the pictures of us holding the piñatas, and we actually made them by hand, which was difficult but fun. In the top right, we have pupusas, which is a traditional food from El Salvador, and they were phenomenal. And here you can see the flyer for Festival Latino. So I met my learning objectives, which I had 3: improving my communication skills, leadership skills, and organizational skills. Communication skills, I had to email my executive board members and members on a weekly basis, as well as stay in touch with my advisor. But I also had to communicate with the Hispanic community to coordinate events such as Festival Latino and the Farm Workers Festival. So I definitely got a lot of communication in and definitely improved my communication skills. Leadership skills, well, I took initiative to start the club, and I also had to get people to join the club. And for me, leadership is inspiring people to work together towards a common goal. And I definitely think I accomplished that with Spanish Club this year, because I got a whole new members and I got them to actually be in the club, enjoy the club, be active members, come to events. So in my eyes, that's success. Lastly, I had to be extremely organized throughout the whole semester, with coordinating projects, meeting deadlines, making sure we had all our paperwork in line. So that definitely helped me improve my organizational skills. My biggest challenge had to be delegation. All of my executive boards are very busy, which is understandable. So sometimes it was hard for me to tell people what work they had to do in order to better the club, because I knew they were busy, but I'm busy as well and I can't do everything, even though at some points I did end up doing everything because I felt bad asking others to do it. But I'm working on that, and it's not so much asking people, it's just making sure that everyone's doing their part. Biggest success by far was the Halloween Carnival. It was great. Everyone loved our table. We gave out all our candy, and our costumes were also on point. So my internship has definitely helped my future career path. It made me decide to want to major in Spanish instead of just minoring it. And I also know that I want to work as a translator in the hospital. And I also know that I want to work with the Hispanic community now. Thank you for listening to my presentation. And this year with Spanish Club has been amazing thus far, and I can't wait for the spring.